Okay, so Carla, I don't even know, what is your last name?
Shellhammer is my married last name, so
Hmm.
it's the last name that everyone knows me in jiu-jitsu for sure.
Yes.
But my
Okay.
maiden name is Graziani, so it's
Ooh,
like
very pretty.
Italian, yeah, Italian, Spanish. But I'm originally from Venezuela, and so yeah, that's my dad's last name. And but if we
Yes.
keep going back in history, then we're kind of a lot of from a lot of places, which is awesome.
Wow. So when
Yeah.
did you move here?
So, like over 20 years ago at this point,
Oh, wow.
in 2003, I was done with high school in Venezuela and there was a lot of political turmoil.
Hmm.
So, I had the opportunity to come over here as an exchange student. And the family that hosted me were so awesome. And I was able to get into a city college and finish like my GED.
Wow.
And get like an associate's degree. So I kind of had like a student's visa and was able to live with this family for like 2 years
Oh
almost.
my
So I was
God.
I was 17, but I came here by myself.
Oh
My
my
family
gosh.
was, I know my family was all back home, but I just saw myself making a life here. And especially because I wanted to pursue filmmaking. So in my country, there was nothing like that,
Yeah.
especially there still is not quite a film industry. It's very much like an independent film
Hmm.
industry. But here, there's more of opportunities to learn. So anyways,
Definitely.
yeah, so that was my
Oh my gosh.
initial draw to America was to study filmmaking.
That
So
is so cool. There's so much to talk about here. So when you were an
yeah.
exchange student, was it in Arizona?
No, it was in California.
In
Like,
California.
yeah.
Okay, so you came over to California, which that's the perfect place to do filmmaking. Did you ever
Right.
do anything with filmmaking?
So I did. I went to school when I was in the city college. It was in Santa Barbara.
Hmm.
But I lived like about 30 minutes away in a little town called Carpinteria, and it's just the Central Coast. Like if you know that area, like Ventura, it's
Hmm.
all like such a beautiful place to be. Oh my gosh, I was so lucky.
Right.
So yeah, so I just kind of was would ride the bus from Carpinteria to SBCC, and I met a lot of people, let's say, just going to school and trying to pursue just like the student life at first.
Right.
From there, I definitely got to meet a lot of people that were already working in the industry. So, gave me like job opportunities as a freelancer, as an editor, as an assistant,
Hmm.
and many other things as a PA, which is a lot of times how you start in the film industry, and you're just like, buying donuts and coffees and things like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah, I mean, honestly, when I look back, I say, and then, after that, after Santa Barbara, I moved to San Francisco
Hmm.
and I actually finished my bachelor's in art, in motion pictures and television. So,
Very cool.
yeah,
Wow, you've had an
yeah,
adventure. And you said how old were you
yeah.
when you moved here?
17. So I
Super
was in,
young. Yeah. To do all
yeah.
that by yourself. I mean, how many teenagers are like moving to a whole nother country and navigating? I mean, were you speaking English fluently at that point?
I was very like fluent in English, but not in conversation. I
Okay.
understood a lot, and
Right.
I even placed out of ESL
Oh, wow.
because I was obsessed with like reading subtitles and also looking up like song like lyric
Yeah.
meanings, and I would like look up the translation, and I would just like do that on my own because
Right.
that was like my thing as a teenager when there
Right.
was Napster around. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah. LimeWire, Napster. Yeah.
I might have, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I didn't pirate anything, sorry. So, anyways, then I think I just had the English, and so from there, obviously going to college and stuff, I picked it up
That's
really quick, and
amazing.
having friends. When you're thrown into a culture, and you learn really fast,
Yeah,
faster
you
than
have
you
no
think.
choice.
You surprise yourself a lot of
Oh
times.
yeah. I say this all the time because
Yeah.
I'm the opposite of you. Like I want to my goal, literally my life goal is before I exit my 30s, I'm 33, I want to be at least conversational in Spanish. And I study it and I take class, but to your point, I really feel like unless there's a time where I'm submerged and have no choice, it's
Yeah.
very hard because you can always lean on your native language, right? Unless you can't, which you really couldn't. You had to speak English.
Yeah, exactly. And it is definitely the muscle memory. It's like when you're a
Hmm.
kid, it's a lot easier to
Yeah.
create that muscle memory, even as a teenager. But I want to say that that's kind of a limitation as well, because as adults, and I think we do that in jiu-jitsu too, like if you put yourself enough in a situation, obviously in a safe container.
Yes.
Same with Spanish, right? Like with
Yes.
languages, like gotta be in the right container to learn, but also be adventurous and have be able to absorb all of that knowledge. But as you grow older, it's definitely sometimes life is more established,
Yes.
so you don't have that opportunities to seek that adventure. But I definitely feel like it's possible for anyone to learn any
Yeah,
language, like if you go and live in a
definitely.
country for, I would say, I don't know, let's say 6 months.
Honestly,
How long
yeah.
do you think it would take you to learn Russian? Like,
Oh, Russian. Oh my God. I can't even. Oh my God. I mean, like Russian is like that's a whole nother thing. Like at least I feel okay. I'm sure your English was way better when you came here than my Spanish, but I feel like you, whereas I can look at Spanish and if
right.
it's in front of me, I can understand it because it's slow. It's the listening, right? Russian,
Mhm.
I can't do anything. I can't
No,
read
that's what I'm
it.
saying. Unless they told me to get you out of here, you have to learn, and then
Yeah,
I'll
I
be
guess I'd have to.
I'll be like, I'll be doing sign language at first. I think that's how
I'd be Russian to learn
teach
Russian. I'd
me.
be like, get me the hell out of here. But like literally, that would be, I feel like that would be a much harder language. I feel like I
Yeah.
am exposed to Spanish more. Like I have friends who speak Spanish and you do
Yeah.
hear it in certain music. So we're a little bit more exposed than Russian
The alphabet too is totally different.
for
Like
for
in,
Russian.
yeah, like in
Oh yeah.
Japanese or any of like those languages, I
Like
would I
symbols.
would feel are a lot more challenging. So do you
Yes.
think jujitsu is a language? Do you look at it like
I
that as
do, I
well?
do. And you said something that I agree with, which is, we do fall on this excuse a lot as we age, like, oh, well, if I was younger, I could pick it up quicker. And there might be some truth to that, but I think to your point, if you really want it, I don't think age needs to be a limitation. I think jujitsu is similar to a language. What you put into it is what you get out of it. And
Yes.
I
Yeah.
try my best not to do that. We all do that, right? Like if I only started when I was 10 or
Yeah.
12 or 20. But at the same time, I get reminded by the 50-year-old that walks in for their first day. And, you could start at
Yeah.
any age. It's true. So, how about you?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have any limitation due to age when it comes to jujitsu, or is that not even a mindset you have?
I would say I've navigated both sides of the equation for sure. I think there's times in my life where I maybe have felt more insecure about it than
Hmm.
others. And then I've kind of found now later on, because when I started jujitsu, I was 29. So I was obviously one of the older athletes, that
Hmm.
were pursuing competition, right? Like, why are you
Right.
29 with two kids doing that? So, I
Right.
definitely feel like I ran into that
Hmm.
in my journey to black belt. And I wouldn't say that like the black belt will give you this confidence of like, oh, I'm this like omnipotent grappler. Not at all, right? It's just
Yeah.
more like it just starts changing. And I heard this thing called the, oh my gosh, I'm totally making this up, but we can look it up later and
Yeah.
fact check me. It's something called like the Murphy belts or something. No,
Oh,
not the Murphy's law, but
I know.
it's
I was like, oh, Murphy's Law.
it's something else. Oh my gosh, can I look it up real
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, let me see. It's like the belt system. It's a belt system by age and
Oh.
size. So essentially, the whole idea is that if I'm going against 100 or 200-pound blue belt wrestler who has, let's say, 10 years of grappling experience as a 120-pound female black belt, that's
Hmm.
maybe has less mat time, like how that kind of like balance, how you have to kind of look at everyone you roll with as a different game and a different kind of
Yeah. Category.
approach. Yeah, in categories. So
Yeah.
anyways,
That makes sense.
We're going away from the topic that we were talking about,
No, but that
dealing with
makes
age,
sense.
but I think it's because as you grow older, in your belt as well, you encounter these things, so it never ends. The cycle of like
Hmm.
running into the insecurities of is
Yeah,
my age a factor or it isn't.
right.
Because a lot of people are training for longevity, myself
Hmm.
included. Even though I've come up as a competitor, the less and less I compete, and the more I've had to find this beauty in that struggle as well, and
Yeah,
understanding that everything is a lesson along the way. So
yeah.
then you start surrendering to the fact that you are growing older. We're all going to the same hole,
Right. Yeah.
the grave. So
Yeah.
sorry, my dogs. They have
Oh,
to
it's
make.
okay. You
They're
might
gonna
hear
poop.
mine at some point. No, you're fine.
I hope you can cut this out, maybe.
Oh, don't worry. My dogs bark too. What kind of a dog do you have?
She's a shepherd, and she's and
Oh,
then now I have one that I rescued recently, and he's good. Let me see. Let me go check on her.
okay.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have three dogs, and this is my new. Come here, Pepe. This
Oh,
is my new addition. So I
oh
went to
my
Hawaii.
goodness. You are so cute. I have three as well.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where?
I
How
have
did you get your dogs?
three pit bull rescues.
Oh, you are the best. I love
Yeah.
you. Good
Yes.
job. How
Yeah.
was it? How was the rehabbing? Or I mean, when you rescued them, were they good right away,
Yeah,
or did you
so
have to
three
work
like
with them?
two different stories. So my first two were puppies. It was their moms were rescued from bad situations and gave birth to them. So they were easy because I got them at 8 weeks.
I see.
Ellie, my third dog, I rescued her at 2 years old, and she was more difficult because she came from a very abusive situation. She just wasn't well taken care of. They were physically abusing her. She was very scared. Now
Yeah.
you wouldn't know it. She lives her best life. She's currently upstairs on a queen bed right now,
Good.
waiting for
Yeah.
me to get done the interview. So she has had a 180-degree turnaround. But
Good.
they're the best. The only problem I'll tell you briefly is like I have a boy and two girls, and the two girls fight for dominance. So
I
that's
see.
been challenging, but we're navigating it. They can't free play or anything like that. They just want to fight, but they're completely
Yeah.
different sizes. One's only 35 pounds and one's 75.
Wow, that's crazy. I feel like
Yeah.
it takes a very special soul, to take in animals, and
Yeah.
especially the ones with the bad reputations.
Right?
Because I've seen, like, my
True.
friend. Yeah, I have a friend in San Diego, and she loves rescuing pit bulls as well. So
Oh,
I love Viviana. She's only has pit bulls.
oh,
She,
that's so
like,
wonderful.
they're like the best dogs
They
ever.
are.
One of them she found in Tijuana, and in
Wow.
Mexico, because she's from Mexico, and
Hmm.
she brought him to the States, and Chente was an amazing dog. Like, she just gave him so much love, but he did have a little bit of these triggers that she had to work
You're
with
right.
him. And
Yep.
I love, yeah, so I love dogs too.
Oh, well, similarly, so it's funny, this is full circle. So one of the
Yeah.
reasons I'm really pushing to learn Spanish is because I work with a rescue in Puerto Rico. And so I
Okay.
fly there every like 3 to 4 months, and I bring
Wow.
dogs back here to the mainland to rescue out
You
from,
do.
yeah, because there's so many on the
Yes,
streets there.
yes.
It's really, really bad.
Mhm,
So where
mhm.
is this a boy?
This is Pepe. He's a
Hi,
boy.
Pepe.
His
Oh.
his name was Hook,
Uh-huh.
in Kauai. So
Hmm.
okay, they have a whole thing because in Kauai there's no predators
Hmm.
and there's no rabies. So you can go as a tourist
Oh.
and take a shelter dog on a field trip, and they give you a whole backpack with treats and a leash, and there's
Oh,
like a
cool.
certain number of rules. But they get a lot of the dogs adopted, like that.
Wow.
Exhibit A.
Yeah. Oh my God. He's so cute.
I took him to the beach, and he's just like the best dog ever. And he's,
Oh,
like you said, I think rescue dogs are just so grateful. We've also had another rescue before, Lola, and man, they're just They're just,
Aw.
you can see it in their eyes.
Yeah, like right
So,
now, he looks so safe with you. His eyes are shutting as you're petting him. Oh,
yeah,
he
he's a good
loves
boy.
you. Do you think
He's a
he's
good
gonna
boy.
end up, you think he's gonna be a foster fail or what?
No, he's really good. He took in, my dogs took him right in
Oh, that's
the
great.
pack. He's like very submissive, so he'll kind of like nip here and there, but then he'll like roll on his back, play guard,
That's
He's like,
I love it.
I'm
I
good.
love it. Oh, he's
Yeah,
perfect.
and he like has pooped in the house a few times, but besides that,
Yeah.
he wants to be good. So
Yes.
with
He'll
that,
find a
you're
home.
okay, we can work together, buddy.
Oh, well, you're
He
amazing for doing that. That's
oh,
awesome.
you too. Wow, we're the best. High five.
That's awesome. We'll have to like connect outside of here too and see if there's
Yes.
anything we can do rescue
I
wise. That's
love
pretty cool.
The Puerto Rico thing. My aunt
Yeah.
lives out there too. So yeah, that's an awesome thing that you do.
So
Like
actually, not to get
outside
off
of
on,
jiu-jitsu.
thank you, not to get off on a tangent, but real quick, since
Right.
we're talking about it, you know Nick Salas?
He sounds
He's like
familiar.
a IBJJF guy. I had him on the podcast.
Okay.
He's pretty well known in the community, but
Mhm.
he does seminars. So him and I were talking after the podcast, and he's interested in coming to Puerto Rico and volunteering his time to do a seminar to donate money to the rescue in Puerto Rico.
Whoa, girl, that's a great idea. I'm down
Yeah.
too.
Right?
I put my
That's
name in there too if you
that's what
need
I'm thinking.
it.
I'm like, I need to reach out to, I didn't realize how many people in the community also do the rescue thing. So I think, we
Yeah.
can really do something awesome?
Wow. That would be awesome. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really yeah, I would be so down, especially
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico. It's so
Right?
beautiful down there. And yeah, if we're
Seriously.
doing something nice,
Half
yeah.
vacation, half helping the dogs. But
Yeah.
okay, so anyway, sorry,
Okay.
I could talk about dogs all
No,
day. So you came over to America, you did your thing. At what point did you get involved in jujitsu and how?
so it was out of nowhere. But growing up, I was a dancer. So I think when I started jujitsu at 29, that really clicked with me. It was more the technique. I was never really looking to make it anything
Right.
except a hobby, right? Because I was
Yeah.
a mom. I was trying to pursue being a filmmaker as a young
Yeah.
mom because I had my daughter at 25 and my son
Mm-hmm.
at 28.
Mm-hmm.
So when he was one and I was winning him off, my husband, he was already brown belt at that point.
Oh wow.
So I already was exposed to jujitsu through Jay, but Jay, let's say that was his thing. I was
Mm-hmm.
not even, I went to his brown belt promotion and they beat him with a belt, and my daughter was a year and a half
Oh
and
no.
she was crying. And I was like, don't worry, baby. He probably deserves it.
Oh
I,
no.
I told her, don't worry, baby. He probably deserves getting beat like by all his friends here. But anyway, so that was my first probably. Oh no, and then yeah, he fought like as a blue belt when I was pregnant with Matilda. So had been exposed. He fought like at a tournament, like at a Naga in Florida.
Uh-huh.
He like drank the night before, had a beer, and then he got like smashed in an absolute. And I was like, babe, maybe jujitsu is not your thing. And he's like, oh man. But funny thing is that after that, he always trained. So no
Right.
matter what, he never competed, but he trained, and he really got had a great network from
Right.
jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And I really noticed that, so I thought, man, I don't know, I wasn't into Zumba or group fitness. I was into, I wanted to get more into like fitness and stuff, but
Right.
jujitsu just kind of, I got hooked right
Right.
away. Yeah,
Oh my God.
when I just tried it and I went to a class. So I was already married for like 5 years at that point. We'd been married. So Jay was really supportive. He was like, hey,
Oh,
you want, I was like, well, I just suck at this, like, why should I
right.
keep going? And he's like, trust me, if you put in the mat time and if you get 100 competition matches from here to your purple belt, you're not going to suck. And I was like,
Right.
huh. So he put that 100 matches number in my head. And I was like, okay, maybe that's going to be my goal. Like,
I
if
like
I don't
that.
get a black belt, at least I'm going to get 100 matches.
Right.
As a white belt, I'm just going to train for it. Like, I'm an athlete, like I'm
Yep.
my own athlete, my own private journey here, my own
Yeah.
story. Even the storyteller in me was very drawn to the whole being an underdog story,
Wow. And
right? Like you're just like
did you
no,
do 100?
I did. Yeah, I'm over 200 something now.
Oh
So
my God, that's incredible. I mean, that's a lot of time dedicated
yeah,
to competing. That's a lot of
yeah,
weekends, right?
investing a lot of time and energy. But I was really hyper focused and was able to also, have like, a lot of people say like, wow, you spend a lot of money. Like that's like over $20,000, and I say, well, it's an education, and I think
Yes.
when you think about it, like, well, how am I budgeting, and how am I not buying a Starbucks coffee versus making something,
Yep.
that's I'm gonna learn from. And at first, honestly, like doing the little local tournaments and stuff it's not that expensive, signing up as a
Hmm.
white belt and like blue and purple. Then I think when you get to the pro level, it's different, right?
Yeah.
But coming up the belts, you can make it your own thing, like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. And you're a black
yeah.
belt now, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow,
I
that's
am.
awesome. That's
Yeah, I got
amazing.
my black belt, and now I've been training almost 10 years. It's gonna be 10 years in January next year. So it's like been 9 years, yeah, that I started. In January 2016 was my first like official class in
Isn't that
jiu-jitsu.
incredible? It's like you're telling me that when you started, you're like discouraged a little bit, and it's like just like
Yes,
that, 10 years you're a black belt. It's crazy.
it's insane. Yeah. And honestly, yeah, the network and the people that makes it that much better. Um,
Yeah. I was
There's
gonna
even
say,
Gaidaima, right? Like
yeah.
Gaidaima and everything that being a co-owner and essentially manifesting so much of my
Hmm.
filmmaking dreams through a brand and
Yes.
being part of this community. So wow, I mean, I
Yes.
cannot even thank jujitsu like as a lifestyle enough in that way.
Absolutely. And that's a perfect segue. So, first, I was going to say,
Yeah,
I've interviewed a lot of people, and the one thing that always comes up is like, myself included, why do we all stick to this hobby? Because a lot of us are serial hobbyists. We do a million different things, but
right.
one common denominator, and I think you would agree, is the community. Like you just said, like that's the one thing that makes you not want to quit and not, veer from your focus. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, the community um, has been everything, and the same idea of not having to make it one thing. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to look one way. Like
Yep.
your community, and I mean, I came into the sport, and we all know sometimes cross training has can be frowned upon, or it's
Yep.
like if it's a really competitive school, like people are really protective of their knowledge and stuff. But coming in as a hobbyist is a different approach, and then you kind of encounter these things, and then you realize like, oh, sometimes you just gotta make it your own thing. You gotta,
Hmm.
um, bond with the people that. Okay, bond with the people that you feel safe with, and what the same
Yeah.
thing as the puppy, right? Like people that you want to learn from, and I think you keep seeking that, you keep seeking people, and you're gonna find your tribe within the same jiu-jitsu community.
Yep.
um but yeah, I mean, obviously, like you say, it's the common denominator, and it's because we're all trying to synchronize, and I think grappling is just such a raw thing as well.
Hmm.
So if we
Yeah.
bring that in, it's very primal. So it does connect us with people that are completely different from us. So that's
That's
another
very
thing
true.
I feel makes it a common denominator.
Yeah.
An
The
unspoken,
connections.
yeah, it's an unspoken bond and connection, and you have to trust this other human with your
Yes.
body.
That is a huge thing. It's trust and the fact that you need somebody else in order to do it, in order to do the sport, right? So you have to
Yeah.
have some level of leaning on somebody else or many people, right? Um,
Yes.
so
Yes.
you got involved at some point with Gaidaima, right?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So that was sorry, 1 minute. Oh no, it's 11:23. Okay. I just my husband came in. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
Gaidama was crazy because originally I never really thought like, oh, I want to be, co-own a brand. Like that was never
Yeah.
a goal at all. But Kendall, who's the CEO and the founder of
Founder. Yep.
the brand, and her and I were supposed to fight when we were blue belts in a super fight in Tulsa. So I did get to meet her, even though we didn't fight. And we kind of stay connected through same thing that we're saying, the
Oh,
community, right? Through Facebook or whatever. And she reached out to me in 2018, like late 2018, to tell me she had this idea to design this pair of spats that were not going to be see-through. Like they were just going to be like the Lululemon of grappling,
Yep.
essentially. She thought, she wanted that kind of luxury quality for women in the
Right.
sport. And because her husband and her own a gym, and she just always felt exposed, and like she wasn't comfortable ever in
Right.
anything she wore. Like if it wasn't cut like for a woman, it's baggy and whatever. So anyway, so
Mhm.
she got herself into this pursuit and she got pregnant. So then she thought about me and she thought, okay, she's like about my size. So I'm gonna have
Yep.
her try the prototypes. And she had me try them. I gave her some feedback on it. I told her I love it. I love the product. I'm definitely
Yeah.
down to, help you out and support you any way that I can. So anyways, when she launched the brand in 2020, she asked me if I wanted to be the brand's first ambassador. So I threw like a giveaway and then our spats sold out right after
Wow.
that. So I know. So it
How
was
cool.
awesome. She then, saw that I wanted to use my skills to nurture the brand,
Hmm.
in social media and, storytelling in general, because I was already editing highlights for a lot of athletes. So she saw that, and she just thought, hey, why don't you jump into the Instagram, take it over, and like help me grow it, do it your thing. And so this was in 2021.
Hmm.
I bought into the company 20%. And so, now that's been grown a lot more exponentially, and it's
Yeah.
been incredible to see like what started in such a small thing has come to be, and being part of it in my
Yes.
department has been the best. And also a lot of the ideas and stuff, I am part of the board, obviously. So Kendall and I are just really good at working together and bouncing ideas off each other. I definitely would say I'm her right hand, her right wing woman,
Yeah, right.
and she would agree. And we're just navigating this crazy owning a brand thing now, and
Wow.
it's fun, but it's full of challenges like everything else. But more than
Definitely.
anything, being able to, essentially um, encourage this self-expression in jiu-jitsu athletes and see them uh, tell their own story through our
Right.
platform is honestly the best. It's so.
Definitely. And that is so interesting how like you guys or you two women were not even close friends. Like you got to know each other through
Mhm.
almost competing. And I mean, what
Yeah.
almost a miracle that you two became the perfect business partners because it didn't have
Yeah.
to go that way, right? But
No, I
it
know.
worked out how it was meant to be.
Yeah, and I think maybe not having that personal connection helped a lot,
Mhm.
but we definitely became really good friends along the way, right? Like
Yeah.
her and I are like besties
That's so
100%.
cool.
And but yeah, it's definitely been more of a business relationship, because yeah, we like only train together when we see each other. But
Yeah.
it's super cool. It's definitely something I always think the best in life, we're never planning for it
That's
fully.
true. Yeah, definitely.
We have to kind of allow ourselves to be surprised with the things that come our way. And I think with Kendall, I mean, I was in a really hard time of my life, and I could have been like, no, I have no time for this, and
Hmm.
so I was also just impressed, same as with you, her drive. I like your drive to
Oh,
like
thank you.
get your content out there, and like
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, I think you see that in people when they really have a vision. And for me, I really love supporting that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, to your point, you saw her vision and you could have been like, nah, this is stupid. But you
Yeah.
obviously saw something in her idea for you to have put effort into it, and then it paid you back,
I
more
think
than you expected.
it was really symbiotic, and I work very well in that kind of partnership,
Hmm.
where she really trusted me to play my position, and I really
Yeah.
trust her to play her position. And I think when you realize that You can make a short film by yourself, but a feature film, you're always going to need a lot of more experts to
Yes.
help you put something together that's a masterpiece.
Right.
So I think that's what we're working for with Gaidama. We want to have a masterpiece here, and I know we have the right people. We're just gonna keep building, and it's gonna be super exciting.
Yeah. Is it just you and Kendall that are owners of the company? It's a few people.
Yes. So
Okay.
yeah, her and I were the owners, but right now we have an awesome team working for us, and
Hmm.
it's another super exciting thing, like behind the scenes, right? Like having more people added to the operation, not just in the warehouse, but creatives. Yeah, we've added a few creatives to the team this year, and it's always exciting to see how many people in the jiu-jitsu community aren't only athletes but are skilled in other things
Oh
as
yeah,
well, like
definitely.
podcasting and here and there. So I feel like as the social media manager, I'm always looking for that kind of people to connect with and develop more that I can see, right? Because we need those visions. We need
Yeah.
I am a very much like driven to support visions that I align with.
Hmm.
So with Gaidama, I've definitely had such an opportunity to hone into that talent that I never really had before. So I'm
Right.
just like so grateful for everything, and
It's very cool.
hope to keep growing the way we are.
Yeah, that's the one thing about jujitsu is you can find anybody who can do anything. Like, right? Like even me,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like, I need a door fixed in my house. I'm like, well, someone's got to be, a handyman or a carpenter. And you will
yeah.
find a talent, any talent you're looking for, you will
Yeah.
find on the mats. It's true.
Yeah, I
That's
say
very
we
cool.
can make a feature film with like
Yes.
jiu-jitsu people. We really can. We can make a whole movie.
Yeah,
And I
for
think
real.
some people already are out there. I think Kit Dale, because I saw Kelsey, um, she's the one of our athletes, and
Uh,
Kelsey Carter,
yes, yes,
and
yes.
yeah, and she was with Kid Dale like making a movie and stuff. I was like, oh,
See?
see there. I'm sure there's like 80% jiu-jitsu people
You're
there.
like, yeah, literally, they could make an actual featured film.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, so you're the social media manager. So right now, would you say that's your main, I guess, goals for the company right now is managing social media? That's what you're working on.
Yeah, growing our digital footprint
Hmm.
in any way we can with YouTube. We have obviously our Facebook, and then now we have we've had a TikTok person, Hannah
Hmm.
Harjo. She's out in Oklahoma as well. She teaches a class at Gaidama headquarters, which is Primate Jiu Jitsu, Kendall's gym.
Hmm.
And she's super cool. She's been working with us for like 2 years with the TikTok. So, and then we have Chelsea DiCaprio started working with us for Reddit. So we're just trying to like hit a lot of platforms and see
Yes.
how we essentially make it very cohesive.
Hmm.
And it's a challenge because that's something that I've never done
Yeah.
before. But I know that every year we just build up on it, and it has started to become a lot more of what we're aiming for. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
it's because of I think when it comes to social media and marketing in general, there's a point as a company that things have to look more like, how do you say, like,
Styled,
yeah, yeah, you go
like
from
branded almost.
yeah, exactly. You go from being a small business to being, yeah, more and more branded um approach to everything. So we're definitely trying to come together as a whole with the ads team. And so yeah, now it's like a whole operation, and we're just like, oh my gosh, what are we doing most of the
Right.
time? But it
Yeah.
always, somehow we always find the way through. And it's
Yeah, and I imagine like, you and Kendall, it sounds like you two were kind of learning by, the seats of your pants. Like you didn't go to school to start a business specifically like this. So it sounds like it's trial and error and delegation, right?
absolutely, yeah. And like every journey of learning, you have to just love the process
Yes.
sometimes. And yeah, when it becomes really hard, I would say what I try to do, um, it's always think about the lesson. Even when I lose absolute
Yeah.
control of it, and I'm like, whoa, okay, that was huge mess up or something. I think it's just important to have self-reflection and just be able to, have that connection with your
Yeah.
own self and understand that nothing's permanent. The
Hmm.
only way is through. So that's just always been my kind of way of pursuing life.
Amazing.
So bringing that into anything I do is how I feel I will keep, unlocking those portals of
Yeah.
self discovery and then also what we're saying, the synchronicity to also be good for the collective, for the whole, for the community.
Right.
It's not only like a self centered pursuit. It has to be about you and everyone else as well. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, that's. I mean, how do you feel with your podcast? Do
I
you
was
think
just
that?
gonna say, as
Yeah,
you're talking, I'm thinking like everything you're saying is so accurate. I agree 100%. I
yeah,
mean, the podcast for me was this little, project that has bloomed, and although it's not huge, it's growing, and I am
mhm,
learning to wear so many hats. And I think just like you, when something goes wrong, I just think to myself, now I know what not to do. Like and,
yep,
and things go wrong, I mean, I've
yeah,
lost data before, and I've edited incorrectly, or
wow,
I uploaded the wrong things. Stupid things have happened. However, today I'm so much better at it than I was, just 2 months ago and then 3 months ago. And so I am like enjoying the process. And to your point, if you don't
right.
enjoy it, it's not gonna grow, honestly.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
And
it's so cool.
how long you've been doing it at this point?
December made it a year, so like 14, 15 months, I think,
And you do also interviews,
in
super
person.
fights and stuff in person. Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
I love them. Yeah, you
Yeah.
do a really
So
good job.
thank you for saying that, because I mean,
Yeah,
I have no, I didn't go to school
background.
for it. I have no proper training. I'm Googling like how do you interview somebody on the spot? Like I don't know. I watch other people and try to pick up on what they do. I feel very confident podcasting because to me, podcasting is just having a conversation. The
Right.
interviewing on the spot is a skill set that you have to
Mhm.
learn because you have to be quick, you have to ask the correct questions, you have to deal with personalities, and again, it's fun. Like I look at it as a challenge, but when I did
Yeah.
that recently, I was a little nervous because I didn't know how it was going to go, but it was fun.
Yeah, that was at the finishers, right?
Yes. Yep. It was at
Yeah. Oh
Finishers.
man,
Yeah.
girl, you did great. Yeah,
Oh,
I
thank
thought.
you.
Yeah, honestly sometimes I feel like with this type of career and even with filmmaking. I mean, I was lucky enough to have an education, but I also know a lot of people that didn't, and it's self-expression. So
Yes.
when you keep building on it, is what we're talking about. It's going to grow if you really are
Yeah.
investing that time and energy and heart, because it does come from the soul. It has to come
It's
from
true.
there. And that's the true motives that I feel like connect all of us, and they also make life purposeful. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's for me, that's what it is. It's what Gaidama has given me, this huge purpose to say, hey, there's this awesome community of people that need to be, celebrated, and their stories need to be
Hmm.
told. And so
Absolutely.
that's kind of
Yeah.
just everybody. Yeah, you are doing it in one way, I'm doing it in another, and
Exactly. It's
that's
just different
yeah,
medium. Yep. And
yeah,
that's people say like, why'd you start the podcast? And you just said it perfectly. I honestly started it because I felt people had stories and they didn't have an opportunity to tell it. And it actually, not to get completely off topic, but it started because my two friends, Yara and Nancy, who are siblings, they're
mhm,
Muslim, and we became friends through jujitsu. And they would always tell me these stories about like how difficult it was when they started because they weren't allowed to wear their hijabs and just little stories. And I would always
oh
just listen
yeah,
and I would just think like, this is so crazy what you went through, and I feel like nobody knows, like nobody knows your story, and they would say it so off the cuff like it was casual, but I would think like it's not really casual, that's like a whole major thing you
yeah.
went through. And so it started with them. I was like, can you tell your story to me? And I didn't know if it would just be one episode, and then more people were like, oh, I want to tell my story, I'd love to share my story. And
Would you
now
send me the link to
I
your first?
absolutely will.
Please, I
Yeah,
would love
yeah.
to see that. I would love to see it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, back then, because I've only been in jujitsu not even 3 years. They're black belts.
Okay.
They're 12 years in.
Hmm.
Back then they were like in the Gracie magazine, but I wasn't around for that. So
Right, right.
they're telling it to me, and to me, it's brand new information, and it's brand
Mhm.
new information to our now upcoming generation, right? So
Yeah. I
yeah, I'll
mean, you
send
would
you the
say
link.
even to me, that's why I wanna see it too. I feel like,
Yeah,
yeah, these stories are never the
it's interesting,
ones, yeah, the ones that on the history books, but that's why the
right?
beauty of social media, and I know some people criticize what it is or what it does. But I
Yep,
feel like there's a lot of power in it as well. That
yep. A lot of
if,
good if you look for it.
yeah, it's more about your personal story. If you're able to tell your personal story, no one else can do it like you.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. And similarly, like you were saying, Gaidaima, started because there was a goal, right? There was a goal to be
yeah,
met. You started with just women. When did it switch to kids and men?
this was about 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, we
Okay.
had kids. We had kids about. So we started in 2020. About 2022, we already had a kids line,
Mhm.
and then 2023, we dropped at the end of the year. We dropped the men, just the like black kid. And now we
Yeah,
have a full, yeah. Now we have a full selection for men, women, and kids, and
that is so awesome.
we have apparel. So anything, we have geese also. We just dropped like our ultra light comp geese for like IBJJF legal. So we keep just kind of trying
Growing.
to add to our stock in a way that's also true to our values.
Right. Yeah,
So
definitely. What would you say? I mean, you've been here since the beginning. What has been the biggest obstacle so far for Gaidama?
for Gaidaima,
Yeah.
let me think about it. Honestly, I would say just running into these issues here and there, when it comes to like knowing what to buy, or how to stock. Essentially, I
Okay.
would say like Kendall has kind of done that on her own, and she's done really really good at it. But it's something that I feel like we're always experimenting with as well, and she always asks me questions and bounces these things off me. So obviously a lot of these decisions are made together.
Hmm.
um, and yeah, I would say, because when we release the men's line, it's just understanding like how to stock and keep things that people want,
Right.
versus the things that you maybe in editing, that we call that like kill your darlings, or
Uh,
like sometimes what that means is like if you have a shot that you're like, oh my gosh, I just love this shot so much, but it just doesn't fit in the whole you know,
gotcha.
aesthetic of the edit, then you're gonna have to kill your darling. Like you're gonna have to get
Wow.
rid of that. You're gonna have to, because it doesn't help, right? It doesn't
Right.
help to tell the story. Even though you love the shot because it has a beautiful lighting on the window or whatever. So anyways, it's the
It's
same, I would say,
interesting.
like learning how to edit, and learning how to also maybe have connections with people that are business driven, but that are also um you know with the heart, with what I'm saying about like with the soul, with the whole aspect of like, do you align with this vision, and
Yeah.
do you participate in it fully, for the right motives. So it just kind of like building a brand in jiu-jitsu, because it's a male dominated sport as well. As two female owners, there's not I've never felt like, oh, we're this, like ostracized group. I feel like we've both kind of just looked at it like we're both trained and we both want this kind of gear, so it's not really, I would feel, have been an issue at all, like at least
Yeah.
like we haven't felt that way. But now going into the men's gear, it was a whole change of dynamics and understanding, like how do we nurture the men's community as much as we have the women's, and
Right.
how do we become as respected, with the men, and you just can't force those things, you just have to be patient. And it's the same with the learning process, right? It's just not looking at it sometimes as like, oh, it's a boys club, they don't want us, or like they don't want to be our athletes or something, it's just more
Yeah.
like, okay, like how is that going to manifest naturally? And I feel like it has, so at first with the men, yeah, it was kind of hard, like getting guys to rep, you know,
Hmm. Yeah.
like a women's brand. It's like same with Lululemon. And
Yeah.
I thought at first that because of the whole Lululemon thing, that wasn't, I was like, it's not gonna be an issue. But yeah, it was a little bit of, and it's hard to put a finger on it too. It's hard to say
Right.
like what it is that really, at first was more challenging getting into the men's
Hmm.
gears, or I mean the men's cells. But I would say with the women, we had a really how you say
Hmm. Yeah.
innovative. Yeah, I
Innovative.
just
Innovative.
innovative. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Sorry. Thanks.
No, you're
So
fine.
innovative. We were very innovative with the women, and with the men, we were as well. But it's just we're not men, so
Right.
obviously, I think
Yeah, you have to talk to them.
we
And is
have.
that
Yeah, we've had to draw a lot more data from the
right?
guys and our husbands and say, okay, yeah,
You're like, it's your turn, honey.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good topic. So, how do you draw that data? Like, are you going out and just having conversations? Is it mostly done online?
So a lot of it is definitely at first, it's with the feedback. We have prototypes and we have women test these prototypes. They are in our team. A lot of times it'll be like Kendall and I most of the time. And then we have girls that train with Kendall. Like Kendall always uses her community, in her gym as well
Yeah,
to do a lot of this testing that,
makes
it's
sense.
it's her container to essentially look at the gear move and
Hmm.
how it looks and all this. So yeah, I mean, she's definitely very, very uh, data driven. And with everything else, like the geese, any product we release, we always get community feedback.
Right.
So I would say that she's always looking at like, okay, we've had like 5 emails, people complaining about this,
Right.
about this product. So well, we maybe have to address this, or how are we gonna change the size? And she is definitely she's a nerd about this stuff. So
Which is good. Yeah.
she calls herself a textile nerd, and she really is. And she just loves this kind of stuff, and same as I love editing and
Mhm.
filmmaking and all this stuff. So yeah, I definitely love hearing her talk about it, and
Right.
yeah, and geek out on her stuff. And I try to just be, yeah, like mostly do the
Hmm.
listening, and then help her with my own. I wouldn't say I collect data, but I do, feel a certain way about the gear. So I will
Right.
always be giving her feedback if I feel like, hey, we've kind of I've had this issue, or this happened, or that happened. So
Yeah.
kind
That's
of how
so
we do
funny.
it.
So, on a positive note, has there ever been either an item or a line you put out that you were pleasantly surprised by that, you thought, oh, it'll do okay, and it did way better than expected?
I think a lot of times, let me think. I'm trying to think about that. Um, I feel like our artware is something that stands out, that
Hmm.
not a lot of, not a lot of brands know how to do this type of placement sublimation that's
Mm.
also made by original artists. It's
Right.
not a custom or a pre-made design. So it's like if you say like couture sublimation, that's what it is. It's like
Yeah.
if you were to call it something like, because it's not, obviously, no, there's no the seamstress are a whole nother department, the
Hmm.
ones that do the patterns and all this. But with the sublimation, I mean, Kendall puts so much time into this. And so any product that I would say, like our first, all of our Mirkatsus, like, I mean, we weren't surprised that they did well, honestly, but I would say we've been more surprised the other way around. It's more like we thought something was gonna do really good, and then it's
And it
like,
didn't.
dang, that didn't pick up. I
Right.
remember, yeah, yeah. So like we kind of started the pink Barbie trend a little too
Mm.
late with the pink
Okay.
suits, but then pink always somehow has a comeback during the year.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know why, but like, so. Anyways, that was maybe a product that, like, I remember it dropped, and at first it was super slow, and then like Barbie had a revival, and like on social
That took
media or
off.
something. I don't know what happened, and so yeah, I'm not even kidding. That stuff is crazy because when you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, this stuff always influences sales. But
Right.
to see the whole spectrum of it, it's almost impossible. You have to just kind of go with your gut and hit or miss, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, that's
Yeah, you
kind of
always have to be on it. Which same
yeah.
with, I was thinking as you're talking, like also with athletes, like, you're always looking for athletes to rep your clothing line, how
Yeah.
are you like constantly looking for like the next best thing, or how do you kind of choose who you want to work with?
So yeah, that's something that's kind of changed over the years as well. Like what I was saying with the marketing and
Hmm.
everything trying to be more cohesive. It's the same with the athletes. Is we've definitely now what we're doing is that we are essentially only sponsoring pro athletes.
Hmm.
We used to sponsor or have ambassadors that were myself included, right? A master athlete.
Yeah.
Like I was, someone that no big brand would have paid nothing to, right? Like maybe would have given me gear.
Hmm.
So same with a lot of our athletes, right? Like we just kind of all started this brand, and a lot of these women, oh my gosh, they're our core, I
Yeah, of
mean, I love all these girls that helped us get Gaidaima to where we are.
course.
And they're all of a lot of them are still part of the team, but it's in different shapes and forms now, of course, because as a brand to pay an athlete, they have to be competing year round, like like the
Yeah.
big names, right? But we do have different tiers of ambassadorships. So the way we deal with it at this point, because we do get a lot of requests,
Yeah.
we go through our operations email. So that's operations@gaidama.com. And most of the time people will send like no someone with like a top three accolades that are really high level. Like if you're a blue belt or a purple belt, yeah, you have to be like in the advanced level.
Right.
Essentially we want someone that's in the advanced level pro. So yeah, we've kind of, some athletes have come, some athletes have gone.
Hmm.
It's always, it's a pool of our team that kind of changes here and there. But we've had right now, like our biggest athletes, we have a lot of girls. We have a lot of women still in our
Yeah, you
team.
do.
But our biggest guy that we recently signed, that's our biggest sign so far, would be Jet Thompson, who's he's got took second at
Yep.
PGF against Andy. Yeah, you know
Very
who he
cool.
is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So he came into the team, and he's an Oklahoma kid, and he, knows Gaidama is from Oklahoma
It's
because of
awesome.
Kendall and Matt, and he trains with them as well. So, or has trained at their gym. So yeah, it's the same thing. It's like the community and who aligns with the vision and who doesn't, and sometimes who needs to look for something different, and that's, you have to be okay with that, as a brand,
Definitely.
to understand. And I think most people we've worked with have also been very classy, very awesome
That's
in
good.
yeah, in the changes that we've had to make, especially more this year. But last year,
Good.
just so you know, we paid our athletes $100,000.
Oh my
our
gosh.
our group of in the whole year, our group of we had, I think it was about 23 athletes, and all throughout the year we paid them, compensated them in views on Instagram. And I would say most of them are not pro athletes, but they would, like compete and do so much for us that it just made sense to
Right.
create this kind of so it was almost like a compensation system that
Yeah.
we had with them.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
incentivized.
Well, a lot of influencers charge a lot of money online to, promote your brand. So we thought, well, why don't we just invest this money in these athletes? And
Yep.
I'm gonna say the best ones like really learned a lot about social media and promoting themselves, because they felt like more incentivized, I believe, to learn and
Yes.
well, put production value, right? Because you are paying them for production value as well as a brand. Like
Yeah.
you need to put media out there that looks the part. So I think people work really well when they feel valued.
Who do you think right now is your highest valued athlete?
Mo Black, just because of how long she's
She's
been on
awesome.
our team. Probably, yeah, Mo, Liz. They're like the ones that competed at the highest level. Liz even got her custom set
Yep,
made.
yep.
The butterfly set is hers.
Very cool.
So those two girls, I would say Tubby, obviously, even though she had a rough year and she's still kind of having a rough going, but she's obviously one of our best athletes. And she's gonna do some big things this year.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm excited for her.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, and I feel like it's one of those things where you're giving to the athletes and they're gonna give back to you, right? It's a two-way thing. Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. So I wanted to ask you before I forget, Gaidama, was the name already set when you came in?
No, it wasn't.
Who came up with
Ken,
it?
so Kendall did, and so she had it ready, but I guess, I wasn't part of it. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. I wasn't part of the name, but what I'm going to go to is that so Guy is a Basque word for competent, capable,
Mhm.
and my grandfather was from the Basque country in Spain, which is
Mhm.
such a serendipitous thing because all my cousins are named with Basque names.
Oh.
And I know, and I always wanted a Basque name, and I'm like, Mom, why you name me like my dad? Just like Carla is boring.
So
I
this
want
was
like
your
a
like,
cool name because my cousin's name is like Eder Dana Biotzi. Like they have cool
wow.
names, and we're
Yeah.
all yeah, yeah. So, anyways, Guy is a Basque word, and then Dama means lady in Spanish, because we
Oh,
were originally going to be a women's
right.
brand.
Yeah, I know it's
And
all
I,
about the
but
breakup.
yeah, now when we transition into the men's, it's funny because her husband kept calling it like God damn it, God damn it. So now we say, okay, now that's what it means. Like when you say it, you're like, God damn
You're
it.
right. God damn it, you look good.
God damn it, you look good. Yeah.
And then I've even heard Kat say like,
Oh, I
AJ's
like
like
that.
the guy Dama, right? Like
Yeah.
that play on
Yes.
words too.
Oh my gosh, that's AJ's crazy.
It is funny.
Crazy persona. Oh, I love it. Yeah, well, that what's funny is that I sent Kendall the Instagram thing because she's not on Instagram. She's kind of a recluse. So
Okay.
just so everybody knows, the owner of Instagram is not on Inst. She has, yeah, she kind of just posts here and there. But,
Right. That's
anyways,
funny.
so I sent her that, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, why is this guy not on the team?" I'm like, she loved it. She was like, "This is hilarious. This is the kind of shit we need."
Yes.
Just
No,
this kind of vibe.
it's smart. So that's so funny.
Yeah.
So it was really you who came up with the name then. Like you offered the parts of the name to create Gaidama, right?
No, no, I didn't. Kendall, that's what I'm
She
saying.
already
It
had
was,
it?
yes, she already did.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. That when she told me the meaning, I was like, "Are you serious? It's a Basque word and then a
Did she
Spanish
know
word."
that? Does she,
She
she
did. Yes. Yep.
what's
Yeah.
her
She came.
background?
So she's just from the United States, but she's like an anime like
Okay,
geek as
okay.
well. And then
Gotcha.
and she actually like knows how to speak Spanish and like,
Very cool.
yeah, she's really, really, yeah. Like anyway, so she kind of wanted to have, I guess, a play on words, and then
Okay.
the whole name essentially comes from a novel, and then she just gave it a meaning. Like
Yeah.
she was like, okay, I'm gonna look up the meaning of this word in any
Mhm.
language, and then it ended up being a Basque word.
Yeah, just a
That means,
coincidence almost.
yeah, and then dama, she just said like lady,
Yeah,
woman,
that makes sense.
was looking for something like girl, right?
Yeah.
And so she liked the name of it, the sound of it, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just a lot of people always say like, how do you pronounce it? And at first we were like, man, does that
Hmm.
suck that people don't know how to like pronounce it? And then it honestly has, I would say, it has drawn more people to it because they're like kind of like, how do you pronounce that? Like, how do you say
Right.
that?
Yeah.
So
I think
yeah,
yeah, it's interesting you say that because it could have went either way, but I think if the brand's good,
yeah,
people are gonna figure it out and they're gonna hear
yeah.
it from people saying it. Because honestly, even me for the interview, I was between two pronunciations, but there's 1,000 videos of people saying it, so you can
Hey, I
figure it
would
out.
love to send you something just for having me on the podcast.
Oh,
So
thank
please
you.
send me,
And
yes,
I'm
send
gonna
me,
send you something
yeah.
too.
Okay, yay,
We're
just
gonna
for each
swap.
other. Perfect.
Definitely. And also, honestly, I'd like to send something to Kendall, if you have
Okay.
her
Yes.
address or if you're gonna see her, send her
Yeah.
something.
I can ask her do you want to email her or do you want to
I'll ship it to
ship it to
wherever
her?
her
Yeah.
gym or if she has a PO box she's comfortable with, like
Yeah, I'll
whoever.
give you yeah, I'll ask her if she usually just gets it to her place, so I can just give you her address and
Yeah.
I'll ask her, but
Yeah, ask
yeah,
her.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I know I just finally set up a website for the podcast and I just started sending
Nice.
some t-shirts out to, people I had on a while ago. And it's exciting because I'm like,
Mm,
Big Dan just texted me before we got online and he sent me a picture of
okay.
him wearing my shirt, and I was like, oh my God, so cool.
Yay,
Like the
good. I
first time I
know. I
get to
saw
see
your
it.
interview with him. It was good
Yeah,
because
he's so
that's all the controversy on the
oh yeah.
ecological and the drilling.
Oh yeah. There's always something to talk about in jujitsu.
But
So
you know,
far.
the Corbe guy won the $100,000.
Hmm.
Not
Yeah.
anything because I feel like my opinion is that I like both things. So,
Yeah. No, me too. Me too. It's
yeah,
funny because when I had Nick Salas on, he's like, "Oh, well, what's your opinion?" I was
yeah,
like, honestly, one, I don't have a very strong opinion about it because I'm only a blue belt. But two, I
yeah,
really do. I'm really a strong believer in whatever works for you. Whatever works for you, do that, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Who am
right.
I to tell you what you should be doing? Like we all learn differently, so do whatever you need to
Yeah,
do, you know? A couple more questions for you. So, as far as
yeah.
Gaidaima, um, what would you say is something that was very rewarding for you and the company from, when you started to now? Is there like a moment you can think of that maybe both you and Kendall were like really excited about, or you felt like this is a turning
Mhm.
point?
Oh, yeah. So when we got the offer to sponsor the ADCC Women's Absolute,
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I think, see, fact check me everyone again because I already have been fact checked on this. We thought we were gonna be the first women's absolute, but no, there was a women's absolute, and I think the last one was where like Mackenzie Dern and Gabby Garcia fought sometime. I want to say 2015,
Hmm.
right before I started jujitsu. So they did used to have an absolute, I think, for the women, and then they didn't for a long time. But
Hmm.
that was oh my gosh, like I get goosebumps just talking about it
You
because
telling me, I'm like, that is so cool. You must have been freaking out.
we were like, oh my gosh, she called me and I was like driving back from training and she's like, you can't tell anyone this. It's like non-disclosure.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then she's like, okay, tell me. And then she's like, we're gonna sponsor the Women's Absolute for ADCC. The belt's gonna have our
How
logo on it.
cool.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to tell
That is cool.
the homeless guy under the bridge. I was like, we're sponsoring the Women's Absolute. And he's like, question marks, like
You just pushed your window down. You're like, anyway, that's hilarious because honestly, I would feel the same way as you. If something like that happened to me with the podcast, I would be telling the most random people around me at like Walmart.
yeah, that's what I did. The homeless guy was like, what's this? What's the Women's Absolute?
You're like, just cheer
Like,
for me, all right?
just give me money, give me change. Stop, crazy lady. Go back to your country.
That is so awesome. And that must have been
Yeah,
just like, wow, what a cool moment.
girl. Yeah, it was really, really cool. And then of course seeing Adele's run at it was like,
Right, of all
whoa, that's
things.
right. This is where women's jiu-jitsu is at, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously, like what a day for women's jujitsu and then for your brand. I
Awesome.
mean, wow. Were you there?
Yes, so I was running the booth with Kendall, her and I, and then we had a few more
Oh,
people. My husband came as well to help. So we were all there as a team, as the Gaidaima team. And yeah, it was our first year setting up a booth there and being a sponsor
oh,
for
that's
the
awesome.
event. There was like the whole crazy stuff with CJI and everything, all
Yeah.
that drama, and
Oh
but
yeah.
it was still awesome. Like you're saying, I feel like because the male athletes, like a lot of them went over there, that it did make it more of the women's show.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was definitely, besides all the, whatever stuff that were not involved with, none of that stuff, obviously. Um, but we definitely felt like, yeah, there was a different kind of spotlight for the girls this time. And seeing that, like just seeing a star like Adele be born there was just so special,
So cool.
because I saw your interview with her and like she's
She's
just like
awesome.
she's solid and I love like yeah what she represents as a whole
See,
for the
this is why
sport.
this is why like community is so great. I wish I knew you. I was there.
Oh,
I was in Vegas during that moment. I was literally like third row watching Adele pretty much make history. Because my friend Amanda Levy was competing
oh, Amanda, she's so
for
good. She was
yeah.
wearing our gear. She
Yes,
was.
yes, yes, that's right. Yep. So we were there for Amanda, and then also my friend Dice. She was competing at Worlds for it was his first time, Amanda's second time, I believe. So it
Mhm.
was just such a cool weekend, and we did hop over to CJI for a couple hours, and it was
Yeah.
cool to like see the similarities and the big differences as well. So
Yeah, a lot of people love doing that. I kind of wish I could have too, like
Right,
gone to
right.
both. But we were working the event, but oh my
Of
gosh,
course.
that was definitely just a huge weekend for jujitsu, like you're saying. Just like
Huge.
there was just like, it's like, wow, there is really a lot of, you know, not just fans, but I think it's just there's something different about the jujitsu fans because a lot of them are practitioners,
Definitely.
so you definitely get definitely get the whole community there versus like MMA where a lot of people don't train, It's like
Yep.
jujitsu, most people train jujitsu or know
You're
someone
right.
or
Yeah.
yeah, have a friend. So it's definitely like a huge, big family
The
gathering.
party. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm gonna go.
Dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Very dysfunctional.
Everyone's just sizing everyone up. We're like, interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a blast. And actually, that was a huge weekend for me for networking for the podcast, which
Nice.
I would definitely do it again. I'll do it this year for CJI if I can, and I'll do it for the next ADCC because Yara and I went to Hakkasan or however you say it,
Uh-huh.
the after party, and
Yeah.
I used it as a networking thing. I'm like looking around and like Tom DeBlas and Gordon, everybody's in the VIP. And that was actually, I went up to Tom and I was like, would you, be on my podcast and
Yeah.
talk to Rafaela? And I mean, I made so many awesome connections just from being in the same
Yep.
room with these people. So you got
Yep.
to do it. You got to be there and you got to network. So I'm sure it was awesome for your brand as well.
Yeah, if we can even talk about some way, shape, or form we could work together,
That'd
or
be
Gaidama
awesome.
with you, work with Gaidaima. I mean,
I'd
yes,
be
we would,
honored.
we definitely need people like you as well, So
Definitely, yes. And I love every single thing your brand stands for. As somebody coming in as newer to the sport, I started at 30, about to be 31, and just having a community of women. I mean, I don't think I
yeah,
would have lasted a month without meeting the women I've met in the beginning. So I love
yeah,
what you guys do. Last
thanks.
last question.
Yeah.
Anything big coming up, or what's the next thing you're looking forward to?
Um, so for Gaidama,
Yeah,
so for the brand, I would say Jiu-Jitsu Con definitely in August is gonna be a big one. It's gonna be our first time setting up there,
that's
and I
cool.
know this is the biggest event in Jiu-Jitsu. IBJJF wise, I would say it's maybe bigger than ADCC or CJI themselves because of it's a competitive. Obviously, it's a tournament, so they really figure out. When I did Master Worlds in 2016, it was just Master Worlds. That's
Right.
all they and so it has turned into a jujitsu conference, right? And
Yep.
then there's seminars, there's like all so if you're a jujitsu addict, if you're a jujitsu lover, this is gonna be like definitely a big place to
Huge.
be. There's all kinds of brands that are gonna be setting up there. So I do feel like the IBJJF figured it out in that way.
Hmm.
And it's definitely something cool to be a part of that we never have before. So that's something big we're looking forward to. And then we kind of still have our partnership with ADCC. So the nationals that's happening in Vegas. That's I think it has points like trials. It has
Yep.
a lot of points and stuff. So yeah, so those are the two big events that I'm looking forward to because, like you said, I love just being there and you
Oh my
get
gosh,
to,
yeah.
like you said, the connecting the face to face is yeah, you still can't beat
Oh
that
yeah. You
sometimes.
cannot beat it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the two things that I've been looking forward to. And then personally,
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Yep.
I'm hoping I'm gonna compete either. I was looking to sign up for like a tournament or something like in Oklahoma, maybe OKC, Oklahoma City. There's a girl in my division, so I thought
Nice.
maybe going out there and doing a few tournaments. I definitely want to try to
Awesome.
do ADCC nationals as well. So even though we'll be
Nice.
running the booth, I might try to
Why not?
compete.
Yeah. Good for
If
you.
not, yeah, if not, it's just because came back from my knee injury, so I'm hyping myself
Oh
up.
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. You're like, I could do
I'm feeling good, like coming back to training, So I'm like,
that's
I have to have a
awesome.
goal to,
Yeah.
I've always been like that. Like I need to have a goal to
To
focus
focus
on
on.
when it comes to jujitsu. It makes it more fun to figure
Absolutely.
it out. Yeah, the
Yeah.
game and everything. Yeah.
Definitely. And as far as the Jiu-Jitsu con, I totally forgot about that. So I had a couple friends that were out there for IBJJF and they were there at the last one. And honestly, I hadn't heard a ton about it until he showed me pictures and how freaking cool. Like that's something else I would like to get out to. I don't know the date as far as like when CGI is going to be, but if I can somehow
Ah,
hit both, that would be, I would love just to even walk around as a
yeah.
spectator.
That's more of the IBJJF community, but
Yeah,
I mean,
still.
as a vendor, you get 10,000 people in
Right.
one place, and that's, I mean, let's say the ADCC, obviously there was supposed to be like whatever the T-Mobile Arena is, like
Hmm.
50,000, but I think there was like 20,000, I think
Yeah.
20,000 or
Hmm.
something. So I mean, that's what we're looking at, right? Like,
Oh
where are we
yeah,
gonna have the most amount of people together that we can, uh, that they can get to know us, right? That they can get to
definitely.
see, and a lot of the guys that we've like a lot of the men's sales that we made last year were at booths where the guys
Wow.
just like being able to try it on, and then they're like, man, I really like this. Like the fabric
Right.
is really good, and I love the
Exactly.
design. So yeah, that's definitely it's a what you asked me, like challenges, like it's
Mhm.
understanding like what booths to do and what
Yeah.
not, because it's an investment, and it's a there's a lot of overhead cost, and sometimes it's not worth it, not worth the investment.
Yeah.
So we
And
just have to
time,
yeah,
your
just like
time where, yep.
yeah, yeah, same as with the stock, everything is figuring out what gives you the best ROI.
Exactly.
And it's,
Yes.
yeah, that's such a huge challenge, but honestly, yeah, I believe these tournaments are gonna be awesome for us.
Yeah. I mean, this was so awesome. I'm so impressed by you. You're just like,
Oh,
you're such a badass. And
you're so sweet. Thank
you're
you.
just so business savvy. And I mean, you
You.
know, to be able to surround myself by somebody like you, I mean, you are seriously awesome. So thank you
Oh
so
man,
much.
likewise, likewise.
I,
Appreciate it.
I
Appreciate you
appreciate you.
wanting to get to know me as well and
Of
interviewing me. So
course,
yeah.
definitely. Well, thank you. Anything else? Any shout outs or anything you wanted to say before we wrap up?
Well, thanks to Catherine
Yes. Thank you, Kat.
for hooking this up.
Yes.
Definitely shout out to her and Asgard Martial Arts over
Yes.
there in Philly. Um, so yeah, no, I mean, just super happy to have been part of this. Excited to see the end product, and yeah,
Definitely.
I'll we'll just get connect after this about everything
Yeah,
else. But yeah,
definitely. Well, thank you. I'm gonna
thank you,
send.
Alyssa.
Yes.